Sushma, Didi, come on the stage. So we'll go through the Q&A stuff. Fantastic presentation. I think I learned a lot just how to think about a mission-driven team or even a functional team, how to think about it. So I know there are lots of questions that's coming. Any question that you have, there are at least 6 of them. Please upvote. One of the things that is people are asking is how to keep up with technology or upcoming innovations with all the day-to-day responsibility. How do you go about doing that?
I get it. So I'm a runner, and I get up at 5:30 every morning. I run, and then I come home and I look at, and I have my phone. Well, I don't drink coffee, but I drink stuff, and I spend my first. I try to be 30 minutes. Sometimes it's only 20, and that's what I do. Like I go on Reddit, I go on GitHub, I go on all of them, and it's not like I necessarily learn anything earth-shattering every day, but when you do it every day, then after a while, you know, you see the trends. In fact, we were years ago kind of skeptical of all the JavaScript frameworks, and our programmers kept saying Angular, 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 and every morning I'd read Angular, Angular, Angular on all of the areas I was reading, and we adopted that, and we've gained a bunch of business by making that decision.
Yeah, similarly, like I read a lot of blog posts, as Didi said, some of the great resources that she's posted here. And I usually I go for walks, or if I'm doing a workout, I usually try and listen in to some of these YouTube channels, or like even read a blog from dev.to or Ars Technica, some of those resources.
Well, that's fantastic. Like, you know, when I'm looking at the technology, read about it, and I'm constantly like experimenting with it. It does what they say versus what you do. Does it make sense? Because you don't want to go into and investing in something and then it'll be so difficult to use it later, right? Because you need to, what technology they talk about, how cool it looks on paper, then when you execute it, sometimes it's crap, right? So you just need to have that way to keep up with understanding where the innovation, and also have a coalition around your business of who you're talking to. So they also give you kind of the innovations that are coming in the market. The other things is, Beenal, you do get a think book for really putting some amazing questions. So here is what I will ask you, Beenal, is to reach out to Sushma and Didi, because these are very deep questions. You probably need a one-on-one coffee time with them to get all the answers. The second one is, what technology blind spots have you discovered, and how do you regularly review where your blind spots may be lurking? Michael, fantastic question. I've never heard this one, but this is something I'm going to steal too. So Didi, Sushma.
I would say, so I'll tell you how I think about it. You know, again, I'm the person who, I know I don't know everything. So I have many blind spots. The one thing that we really thought about when we were forming our company, I wish it were country, our company, was the roles that were critical in our company, that if we didn't have them, we knew we would fail. And the one was like the CTO, or, you know, that chief technology person. We knew that we needed someone who we have a really geeky product, who could both code and lead. And so that's kind of like, I know that I need that role in the company, or my whole thing will be one big blind spot. And so I just know I have so many blind spots that I have to have a person or a group that I can rely on. That's my
Same. I think well said, Didi. I think having the right group and bringing the right folks together often in your company is very key in identifying blind spots. You cannot identify all of them, but as long as you have a strong team behind you, they can. So some of the things that we really try to encourage is like to form these technology working groups. So we have like a web working group, we have an API working group, we have native working group in our teams that meet like once every 2 weeks, and then they talk about all the new technologies that are happening and try to connect the dots between various things that are happening in the company. and try and identify blind spots that way.
No, that's fantastic. So my question to all the audience is, what did you learn from this discussion, and what are your takeaways? Go ahead and take a moment. What did you learn, Didi? What did you learn?
Well, both of you had great presentations. Sushma hits more of the things that really I actually have already, Sushma, apologies in advance. I've already sent your slides along to some folks. I've got some new people, and we don't, one thing we don't have is very good training. And I was saying to my team, we need to get this in a form where we can train. Yeah, anyways, thank you, Sushma. You actually gave me a good piece of information to pass on to my team. So that was
Thank
awesome.
you so much.
And Sushma is the same thing. Like Didi is I sent the same screenshot to my team and said, okay, we are going to have this one starting Monday, and maybe we'll have Sushma come and teach us how to go about doing it. So you will be probably speaking to my team very soon. But Sushma, what did you learn?
I think for me, definitely some of the nuggets around like the template that you talked about, the various pricing models, how to even like think about positioning your business was amazing.
That template was awesome. And you're right, it looks so simple and it takes forever.
Yeah, I was like, this is so easy. And now this is something that I've struggled with for so long. And simply put, and then Aditi, your resources were amazing. And I think definitely I had not thought about like Association for Women in Computing and all of that stuff. Like even the surveys, I think those are something that I'm going to go try out and send it to my engineers as well.
Yeah, the developer economics one is very interesting because they have all of these technologies. It's each one just has a slightly different way of thinking about things. And I tend to be very focused on my little Microsoft world, so it's fun to branch out a little bit.
Perfect. So we are at 7 more minutes before we go into happy hour. Who's joining the happy hour? Because my mind is already there for the stand-up comedy and having fun there. Who's joining us? Sushma, are you? Okay.
I have
anybody in the chat? Anybody who's joining the happy hour? Okay.
And I ordered a pizza. Anybody come over to my house? I got pizza.
I'm coming, Didi, next week. Excellent. So there are a few things next tomorrow. We are going to have is the STEM-based youth entrepreneurship. I want all of you to be there if you want to really mentor the youth. We are going to do a closing ceremony. We have broken all the records we can think about with the virtual summit because we have more than 18 countries joining this one.
Holy cow, look at you, Chai.
Yeah, and yes, I did have my wardrobe change for the happy hour, if you noticed. I did.
Oh, you did? Good on you. Look at you. You think of everything.
Yes, and for all the people who did the chat Q&A, that is Bino, and then I have is Carolyn Minsterman, and the last one is Niru Gupta. All three of you get the Think Book. So great questions, and we will come up with an answer, probably do a blog post on this one. And have both of you come to the Women in Cloud sessions and really educate the entrepreneurs as well as somebody who's building the solution. And I would love to have is any final thoughts you have for the audience before we wrap up and go to the happy hour. My mind is there right now.
Are you ready to?
Yeah, already at my I have it.
I have one thought.
Yes.
Sorry. I'm going to be blue. So one last thought. When I first started in the industry, and I can remember I'd go to all these different events, and people would tell you, you have to do this and don't ever do that, and kind of all these things. And I remember thinking, oh crap, I did that. Like the thing they said, don't ever do that. I did it, and it worked. Like it worked. And so what I would say to you is, that everybody has advice and what works for them, and they'll often tell you things as though it's this binary yes and no, and we all know that like it's great to break rules. It just figure out what works for you, and don't take, don't think that anything is gospel, but
Totally.
do what works for you. So
Totally.
anyway, I found that breaking rules work just fine.
Absolutely, Didi. Sushma.
Yeah, I think I agree with Didi. The one thing that I'll add is like definitely leverage the power of your network. A lot of the decisions that I've made in my career has been like things that I don't know about, and I still have to make some of those decisions. And I've leveraged my network. I've reached out to my peers or even like industry leaders and asked for their advice and gotten like 2 or 3 different opinions before I form my strategy. So definitely don't hesitate to ask. I think there are a lot of people with a lot of knowledge, and they would love when people actually reach out to them and connect. And
Sherry said there that most people are willing to help. I am shocked at how magnanimous people are, how great people. So much of the time you hear about how crappy people are, but overwhelmingly people are great.
I totally agree with you, Didi. So with that, I would say the parting comments from me is the collective power rules, and all of you are part of the collective power. Join us at the happy hour. So Blake, add in the link so you can directly be transported there. And let's go have fun and meet Didi and Sushma and me. We will be all together dancing. And if anyone wants to come on the stage with the stand-up comedy experience, raise your hand. We'll get you on the stage. With that, thank you, everyone. What a fantastic 2 days it has been. And both of you, Didi, Sushma, fantastic content. And I want to work with you more to do these kind of sessions. It's brilliant.
Thank you. As always, you do an amazing event. Thank you.